Our beloved Shri Gurudev, Nityalila Pravish Om Vishnu Pal Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedant Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and 100th appearance day, centennial of Nityalila Pravish Om Vishnu Pal Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedant Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, to whom Srila Gurudev used to address him as his Shiksha Guru. Such auspicious day, such auspicious evening, and I'm seeing all the devotees here assembled, came from far distance to hear the glories of not only one but two acharyas, the two pure devotees of the Lord. Purification. Just by hearing the glories of the pure devotees, immediately the heart gets purified. Without the second. So, Srila Gurudev used to visit here so many times. And every devotee here, now they've grown up, but from the childhood, from the beggar community, they used to stay there, have so much association. They had so much association with Srila Gurudev. Today is the day we're going to hear some of the memories, pastimes, and the contribution of Srila Gurudev along with Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedant Vaman Goswami Maharaj. So we have some program. Shripa Shravan Prabhu, he organized with Krishnadas Prabhu a slide, one video of Srila Gurudev on this occasion. We can see him live speaking, and all memories get flashed. The old memories can get revived. After that, after this video, the kids here, they're going to recite some verses. Some verses, they know so much, but time slot is less. Because so much to say and so much to hear, and also from so many senior devotees here. So, the kids, they're going to recite few verses as a pushpanjali, means as an offering to Srila Gurudev for his pleasure, because Gurudev always wanted his son, daughter, grandson, and granddaughters to learn verses, to get very fluent in scriptures. I remember Gaur-Sundar Prabhu, Shravan Prabhu, when we were together in Mathura. After morning walk, Srila Gurudev, when he comes back from morning walk, we were all singing in the temple hall. And as Gurudev comes in, walks in, and we all stand up in his honor, and he said, sit down, everyone sit down. Continue singing. But I want all brahmacharis, all devotees should learn verses. That helps in meditating while we chant Harinam. Otherwise, mind goes in 10 directions. I think more than 10, 20 directions. But when we learn verses, it helps us in praying, how to pray to devotees, how to pray to Krishna, how to pray to Mahaprabhu. It helps us. So the children here, they're getting such good training by their respective teachers here. Shri Lalita Didi and Shri Kanupriya Didi, teaching them so nicely. So that's our program, and after that I'm going to request some senior devotees to come forward and speak some glories of Srila Gurudev, and then I will also contribute something in between. So together, actually, please don't think those who are speaking, only they are offering Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev. Those who are hearing, they are also. Shravan Kirtanam, together. Hearing and speaking, both are seen. Yeah. So let us start this program. We already sang for more than 1 hour. Are you ready? Yes. Shila Gurudev ki. I'm not hearing properly. Shila Gurudev ki. I'm hard of hearing.
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। Thousands of Dandak Pranam in the Lord's seat of my soul. Netarila Parishwan Vishnu Bhakti Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Kisarushan. And then chant thousands and thousands of Dandak Pranam in the Lord's seat of my Shiksha Guru Netarila Parishwan Vishnu Bhakti Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Swami Maharaj. Oh. Our classes are going very good. All are happy. I want that time to time. Oh, festival like this should be held to help all of us. Sometimes we are here, all are inspired. But when we will leave this place, then so many will become so weak. You should try to follow your Gurudev. All this. Don't forget him and his teachings. If you want to be happy, I accept my Guru. But I don't follow him. His instruction. What is this? Like nonsense. Nothing. Not only by words, you should try to follow from your core of heart. Each instruction what he has given is all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sadaru Goswami at Prayag, and he gave one drop of rush from the ocean of rush and the ocean of love and affection rush. Only one drop. And he gave so many things in the heart of Rupa Goswami. And that is why what it has been told, Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Hapitam Jena Bhutale Swayanga Rupa Kadamahiyam Dada Sapada. If you want to see the chair, you can go home. Because you are feeling and you should go. So, we should try to know if you want to turn up your Krishna consciousness. You should try to know Rupa Goswami and his instruction. That instructions are come and go out. So, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, or Swami Bhakti Vedanta Swami has not given anything new. Only he has given ocean wine in new bottle. Not wine, or love and affection, but in new bottle. In very attractive way. So we should try to follow. Only undisciple it will learn to from beginning this. And first is the instruction through Krishna. Vacho Vega, Manasa, Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udar Upasta Vegam. Jasarvam, Sasarvam Itiman, his really good. His prayer. You should try to know all these things and to be what? Observe in following all this. Only coming and going and hearing will not do. What we are hearing, we should try to follow. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give all Araganuga Marga. How we can follow gopis? He came to give this. And this is rare in this world. Only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if you want to serve Krishna and Radhika, you must follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But when always, where is Krishna? Without Krishna, my heart is broken. Like always totally observed. And he had no time to write any book. Only 80 sloks he had written. And for other things, he wanted to write. But when a mood of Radhika used to come, and he used to become totally mad. Writing down who will write? So he could not write. So he ordered and inspired his all books in Swarup Goswami. And he had given in his books, especially in Lalit Madhav, Vidat Madhav, Udvan everything is there. Swarup Goswami gave all these things, I think. But how to enter? First, we should be qualified. You know, crows. They like their fruit like bitter fruit like him. And cuckoo birds, very tasteful, very sweet mango. So, in this world, those who are like crow, they will not appreciate that mood of gopis. And those who are like very high class of coquin bird, cuckoo bird. One pointed to Krishna, following Srila Goswami. Quickly they will be qualified to enter in this. They will not qualify. First, we should follow from today if you want to enter in that realm of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Bhakti. So try to realize. If you have no taste, no? In Harinam, again and again you should do follow. Don't be published. Again and again you do. This is the medicine and also diet also. And then what is the essence of all instruction? Kramena rasana manasi yesre tinyutya. Isthan braje tadam raji janan gami. Kalam naeda khadam iktupuris. In essence, whole picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in this one stroke. Be always in Vrindavan. If you cannot be Vrindavan by your body or even by your mind, you should be. And what way? Chanting and remembering. Chanting Krishna name. Remembering the pastimes of Krishna. In the guidance of very Rasik and Tattva Vaishnava. And then this is essence of that. Now, Our today class is finished, but you should go not empty. You should take something which are going coming to with you. But this instruction you should take forever for your life. And if you are not doing seriously from today, you should follow all the instructions. And you will see that you will be happy
So, kids getting ready. So Gurudev told us not to go empty from here. And taking these instructions, not empty hand. Okay, come.
I think that they can say it. The same one? I offer my humble obeisances unto you, and pray that with the torchlight of divine knowledge, you open my eyes which are blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Krishna the spirit soul's constitutional position is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. Coming from Tatasta Shakti, he is simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. More humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, ready to offer all respects to others without expecting any in return. Constantly chant the holy names of Sri Hari. Nam Kirtanam Vishnu Swaranam Padasevanam Arjanam Panjanam Dasam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. The 9 processes of devotional service are hearing, chanting, and remembering the Lord, serving His lotus feet, offering worship, offering prayers, becoming a servant, becoming His friend, and surrendering one's life and soul. Anabhilasita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyanavrtam Anukayena Krishna Vishidanam Bhakti Uttama. That service under the guidance of dear devotees is only for the pleasure of Sri Krishna, which is continuously performed through one's body, mind, and speech, which is not covered by jnana or karma, is called Uttama Bhakti, completely pure devotion. Chitrodharpanamarjanam Baba Mahadava Nirvapanam Shreya Karidavachandrika Nataranam Vidyavadi Jivanam Anandam Gurivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swaranam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Let there be supreme victory unto the chanting of the holy names of Shri Krishna, which cleanses the mere material existence. Sankirtan causes the lotus of the Jiva's good fortune to bloom, by shining forth the soothing moon rays of bhakti. Sankirtan is the life and soul of transcendental knowledge. Continuously increases the ocean of transcendental bliss by giving supreme nectar at every step. Sankirtan conveys and cools the body, mind, and soul. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Srila Gurudev Maharaj showers to all of you so that you can learn more and more verses, more than 1,000 verses, and all become good speakers and preach everywhere in the world. Very nice, so impressive. Thank you. Thank you. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय सदाय कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। गौरसरचत्रामृतनिधि गौरं सर्वमस्तुते गौरेण प्रथितं रस्य भजनं गौरं सर्वं जगै। गौरस्ते कृपालुरात्रिनपरो गौरस्य भृत्यस्य भवान् गौर गौरमचरामि भगवान् गौर प्रभु रक्ष माम्। भगवान् गौर प्रभु रक्ष माम्। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधाकांत नमस्ते। टुगेदर तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी नमामि हरिप्रिये। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवसुचा कृष्ण भक्ति हरे सत्यव्रताय नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So again, welcome everyone to very auspicious appearance and disappearance of our acharyas. Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedant Vaman Goswami Maharaj. I think some of you must have seen him. We used to see in Navdeep Parikrama 3 acharyas sitting on the dais, surrounded by hundreds of sannyasis. Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedant Vaman Goswami Maharaj, Acharya of Shri Devanand Gaudiya Maharaj, Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, and Srila Gurudev, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Vikram Goswami Maharaj. The three pillars of Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. So, so many things to say, and there are so many speakers this evening. Before I start something, because if I start something, then I forget. It goes with the flow. It goes with the flow. So better I should not speak anything. Later, I want my seniors to speak something, as they have associated and learned and practiced so much the teachings of Sri Gurudev. So first of all, I request Sri Indradev Prabhu, please come forward and please glorify Sri Gurudev. We have served and we have associated with him so many times. You must be having so many nice memories of Sri Gurudev.
Yes. My memory is failing in old age. So really, when Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada left the planet, left this world, we, a lot of us were lost because it seemed like the people he left behind to, keep going with his movement started becoming selfish, and they just start creating crazy things like, Somavacharya and all that. I mean, things that you can't even explain something like that. So after a while, I left the New Dwarka, the Los Angeles temple, and because I didn't see anything that was for me anymore there. And always been does a benediction the rest of you. I don't know why, because I understand it, but I always been close to Gopabrina Prabhu since we were brahmacharis and etc. etc. So I moved to Santa Cruz, and really soon he moved to Santa Cruz, but again, I don't want to make this a long story. And the time passed, and we lamented to each other that what is it going to be? The Priya Prabhu's movement is in chaos, and who our children are going to take shelter of. It's no one that we can even consider. But as the years pass, a great number of years, at one point, Governor Palace wife, Mula Patriti Devidasi, to me, a very single person, spent a lot of time in India. She was compiling a book of all the things that Srila Prabhupada did in India that we didn't know in the Western world. A fantastic book. And then in his interviews and travel, she met Srila Narayan Maharaj. I think Chandrika was there too, and they both start going and listen to Srila Narayan Maharaj. And finally, I think over in the public after that, I'm not sure. But anyways, and somehow or other, Srila Narayan Maharaj wanted to come to the West. But at that time, the politics of ISKCON have tried to create a very bad reputation for him. So the devotees were uneasy to have him, uneasy to listen to him. So at that time, Governor Pala have left Badger, and we have left Santa Cruz, was in Badger, and he told everyone, hey, you have nothing to lose. You know, he comes and says his thing, and you don't like it, fine, just go home or go to sleep. Because there was a lot of mistrust at the time because of bad propaganda, fake news. Um, and so he finally came the first time. I wasn't there. It was just the words in Bali kept it pretty quiet because they themselves didn't know it was what it was what. And the end is sweet, you know. I mean, love at first sight. All the devotees in there fell in love with you there. The word starts spreading around. He is the little thing and like that. So the next year that he came back from India like that, I was there. But pushed me to do it, but I did it. And after that, the second thing happened to me. You know, what I mean, you just have to fall in love with Guru. There was no alternative. And he kept saying, "Oh, I just came here to put you in my pocket." So after that, I went to every single program like that. I even flew here to Hawaii because I was still living in Santa Cruz. And, you know, Prabhupada used to say that the Lord works in crooked ways. And this is another way, you know. We were all expecting that in his line something was happening. But actually, Srila Gurudev was the first disciple of Srila Prabhupada. When he was in India, when he was in America, he always talked about this devotee that always held him and saying him sweets and saying rain dance and that. And was Srila Narayana Maharaj. And as we can hear, we hear here, and every time he spoke, he accepted Srila Prabhupada as his Siksha Guru. And again, that's what most of us are here now. Our children are devotees, you know, our grandchildren are devotees too. So the influence of a pure devotee on the conditioned soul is the only way to save ourselves. And I don't know what else to say, but you know, we should take these things at heart, and hopefully we can get out of this material world someday soon. Haribo.
Next time, request Jagadhatri Devi.
Hare Krishna. Those who know me, how lofty my feelings are, etc. So my story is based on this incredible intelligence. I was initiated in Seattle in 1973 by a wonderful, wonderful devotee named Sukadev. And Sukadev lost my initiation letter. So he gave me the name Kadamba. And as a very lofty philosophical person, to me it sounded like a Spanish band. So when I kidnapped my son Raghu to go to LA to meet Srila Prabhupada for the first time in 1973, I believe it was, his servant and secretary named Pradyumna was married to a Arundhati at the time. I cornered him basically and said, Sukadev lost my initiation letter and he called me Kadamba, but I don't like that name. So I said, would you find out what name Srila Prabhupada gave me? And he goes, nah, we don't keep track. We'll call you Jagadhatri. So I told Srila Gurudev this story. And he just started laughing. And he just looked up at me and he said, Your name is Krishna Mohini Devidasi. That's the end of your story.
Everyone can scoot forward just a bit, so everyone in the back can have a little more room.
Yeah, there's so much space here. Radhan or Rukmini? Okay. Then, Golaka brother, I'm already carrying mic.
Just Krishna. Om Gyanathmanandasya Salakaya Chakra Tanjina Tasmashika. Hare Krishna, everyone. So, I was just thinking today, on this very, very auspicious day, I could tell you all the story of how I met Gurudev and when, and funny pastimes that I went through, but then I would just be talking about myself this whole time. So instead, I just wanted to try to touch on a few things that I feel I learned from Srila Gurudev and that have stuck with me throughout my life. My father is Indradev Prabhu, who spoke earlier. So I was raised with his understanding of what Srila Prabhupada was giving in Krishna consciousness. And so when we receive any sort of information from a source that isn't 100% pure, then there's some filtering. So, and on top of that, we all have our own filter of our own heart and our own misconceptions and our own vision of what is God, what is bhakti, what is devotion, what is spiritual life, what is guru, all of these things. And so I was getting one perspective from my father, and it all seemed very nice, and there's so much prasadam, which is always very nice. There's very loud kirtan with people singing and drums, which is very nice. There's some philosophy, which when I was, growing up was pretty dry for me. And then I met Srila Gurudev, where he decided to appear in my life. And the first thing I learned was, oh, this is what Krishna consciousness is. Krishna consciousness is the Vaishnavas. If we are so lucky in this life to come into contact with a pure Vaishnava, that means someone who has no filter between God and us. It's absolutely like a clear window, crystal clear, and that we're seeing God straight through this medium. Without this window, we're always seeing God through our filter of our own vision and our hearts and our bad misconceptions and our lust and our anger and our greed, right? But when we meet a Vaishnava, then we're able to get a drop of his vision, his view, his realization, his relationship of what the pure source really is. So if there's the first thing I learned was without guru, without pure Vaishnava, without coming into contact with someone who is 100% of their day dedicating to God and love, then actually we only have our own brain speculation of what God means and what love means. He also taught me specifically, he said it to all his devotees, don't ever criticize. Criticism is such a great offense on our hearts, especially criticizing other Vaishnavas or other persons who are trying to advance in this relationship of love of God. Then it's so detrimental that how can we make any sort of progress when we are trying to bring down those very souls in this material world that are trying to have a loving relationship with the friends associates of God and God himself. How is this possible? So he said, never criticize. And when I was a teenager, I had let's just say, a sense of humor where I like to make fun of people. And, I was known for that. But when he said those words, and then he said, even in jest, don't criticize. He was very, very strong in this, right? And then I'm like, oh, no, I messed up bad. But this is a lesson for all of us. He would say to all his disciples, right? That better that we just stay away from a person than ever criticize another devotee that's trying to make relationship with God. There are much more qualified people to talk about the inner heart of Srila Gurudev and what his real inner core mission was. I'm not one of those people because I don't follow very well and I don't practice very well. But I do know that Gurudev wanted us to come in this line of being a maidservant of Srimati Radhika. And that when we start our relationship with God, there are so many different moods we can come to. And I see so many faces in the crowd that I haven't seen before, and so many faces that I have seen before. But this concept that there are different relationships with God besides on reverence was such a mind-blowing realization and such a mind-blowing gift that changes the whole equation of what love of God, devotion, religion, spirituality means. It means that when we practice developing this love, that it doesn't always have to be in this concept that love is that God is a grandiose, giant face in the sky, and that we always should be bowing and thinking ourselves little tiny pebbles. It means that God wants a loving relationship with us, and that relationship, the higher it gets, the further away from remembering that he's God and that we're these little servants it gets. The more intimate that relationship gets. The more that Krishna wrestles with his cowherd friends in the spiritual world, it is a million times more satisfying to him than someone bowing 1,000 times at a temple, wrestling with his friends and losing to those same friends, even though he's God. And they forget, they never think, oh, this Krishna is God. They think, oh, this is my best friend. What do you mean, God? This is silly. He's not God. He's just a little boy. The same thing with the relationship with his parents, the same thing with his relationships with the gopis, the cowherd maidens of Vrindavan. And our Srila Gurudev, he wanted us to be in that line of the cowherd maidens of Vrindavan because they had the highest love for Sri Krishna. Now, this is a very, very high topic that I won't get into, and because I'm very, very unqualified to speak of it. But I know that our Gurudev always pushed for that loving mood that was beyond any sort of conceptions of boyfriend, girlfriend, or love that we have in this world presently. So I won't take up much more time because there's so many more qualified speakers, but I'm hoping that that by speaking a little bit of the glories of my Srila Gurudev, then maybe all of you and Srila Gurudev will bless me that in this brand new year, I will serve him much better than I have in the past, and that my heart will continue to melt, and maybe one day he'll give me a drop of his mercy. Hare Krishna.
Srila Gurudev used to many times in Parikramas, especially when in Mathura, series of lectures on one book. Let's say Gurudev starts Briyat Bhagavatamritam goes for months. If we start those who have enough time, free time, they can spend their time in finding faults in others. But we are following Rup Sanatan Bhattargunat, Shijiva Gopal Bhattadas Gunat. Srila Gurudev said, unless we perform sadhana like the Goswamis, forget about the goal, Radha Das said. No matter how much you speak and how much you sing Radhe, 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 Radhe. If we are not performing sadhana like the Goswamis, cannot achieve the goal. That goal for which I came to give all of you. Radha Das. That's the mission of Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. So if anyone performing sadhana like the Goswamis, where is the time to criticize anyone? There is no time. That's why we need to regulate. When I'm saying, please don't take otherwise that I'm instructing anyone. I'm actually instructing myself. Yeah. I'm not authority. They are authorities. I'm just, sharing their instructions for myself and for the benefits of those who want to hear. Srila Gurudev said, if Vaishnava life means regulated life, if someone have taken a walk of chanting 64 rounds a day, plus one have to take care of family and what? There is a time to find faults or criticize someone. But instead of that, one reduce the chant number of rounds from 16 to 8 because I'll get 1 hour to see who's doing what. Instead of that, if we increase the number of rounds to regulate my own foolish mind, and if we start chanting 32 rounds, where is the time? And that's guarantee. If we sincerely chanting Harinam, praying to Harinam Prabhu, oh holy name, then instead of seeing faults in other, we start seeing what's my fault. What I've done in my past, what I'm doing now. Srila Gurudev said, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sasi Thakur Prabhupada said, a disciple is the disciple, the Sarup. The nature of disciple comes out not when Gurudev is present. The Sarup of disciple comes out when Gurudev leaves. That's the test. How much I have holded those memories of Srila Gurudev, those instructions to my heart. Means seriously, it's a very serious affair. Disciple is what not when Gurudev is present. Disciple is one where Gurudev leads. That is come up. How much he loved his Gurudev and how much he is loving. It's so easy to say if I say my beloved Gurudev. Wow, so easy to say this. How much I'm in love with Gurudev. By my surrender for the sake of the mission of Sri Chaitanya. In Kartik, but Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis supposed to take some responsibility. Don't live life without responsibility. Vaishnavas are above human beings. Human beings have so much responsibility, and Vaishnavas have more responsibility. Don't live without responsibility. Take some any responsibility. Can be anything, small or big, because that responsibility will save you from great dangers. Swalpamasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. A little endeavor on this path, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, protect ones from great dangers. And that's why he's always encouraging. He was always encouraging, and he is always encouraging. Never get weak. Follow the principles. Sharanagati, surrenderness means there are 6 limbs of Sharanagati. Anukulasya sankalpam pratikullasya vivarjanam rakshyati iti vishwaso bhaktirtu varnam tatha atmanikshepa karpanya. Shadang Sharanagati Haide Jahar Tahar Prarthak Sune Nand Kumar. Sometimes we complain to Krishna, why not hearing our prayers? Are you deaf? Every day I'm shouting and screaming, you're not hearing and giving me troubles and problems and sufferings. That's why I start worship you. Why not hearing? Srila Bhakti Thakur explaining, giving the answer why it's not hearing and why when he hears. Shadang Sharanagati, anyone following the 6 limbs of surrenderness in whatever proportion, Krishna hears those prayers in the same proportion. 6 limbs, surrenderness has 6 branches. The word surrenderness has 6 branches. Very first is Anukulasya Sankalpam. I take a vow to accept only those things which are favorable to my bhakti. Pratikulasya Vivarjanam. I will reject all those activities which are unfavorable to bhakti. All other points are positive. Chanting mantra, following Kadashi, fasting, Harinam, services, all positive. But when the point comes to give up the unfavorable part, there's the weakness comes. There's the leakage. And because of that leakage, so much is we putting on, but it's just draining. Because pratikulasya vivarjana, rejection of those things which are unfavorable to bhakti. So who spread these rumors that Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj is only speaking about Radha Dasa? Gurudev was so much strict on this point. Because this is the point where we start getting weak. Please, I'm telling myself. This is the point. So weakness of heart, Hidaya Durbalyam, need to check. Not only once a year, like in Guru Purnima, in Mathura Math, Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Math, Guru Purnima day. Oh, how many people used to come? Like 15-20,000 people come, disciples of Gurudev, to give him garland. But only once a year. They show up only once a year. And in the evening, Gurudev used to give class. How many sitting? Only 250. And throughout the day, big line, the road, 15,000 people. but they're only taking him as just my Gurudev, my spiritual master, and he's going to save me and protect me, that's all. I have no responsibility to serve him or to remember him. So what we are doing today is not a custom. The today's disappearance day, or when his appearance is going to come this year is centennial, 11th Feb. Only worshipping him twice a year, and that's all time I'll just do whatever I want. That's not bhakti. Where is my relationship with my Gurudev? How much I'm feeling separation from him. That's why today is Vira Utsav. Vira means separation, and Vira means Vishesh Rupena Raha. Vira means Vishesh Rupena Raha. Raha means union. Union with a special mood is called separation. When a disciple cry and weep, Karuna na hoile, kandiya kandiya pran na rakhi boar. Gurudev, if your karuna, if your compassion will not fall on me, I will die. Weeping and weeping and weeping, I will die. So these songs are not to sing in a very melodious and yeah, wow, very nice. But to go in understanding those words written by acharyas. This is what Srila Gurudev. This is how Srila Gurudev was saving us and inspiring us. There is no time. Srila Bhaktivedanta Maman Gosai Maharaj used to say, "Utho, utho, bhai, aaj to samay nahi." Get up, brothers. There is no time left. Days are week, months, years are flying so fast. No time left. Almost at the edge of death. Where's the time? We think we are young, we're still young. No, very soon we become old. What's the time? So anyone who is very sincere in performing practice, there is no time to criticize or look for others. As Prabhu was saying, Gurudev used to say this. And also, deciding your Ishta. Who is your worshipable? Srila Gurudev said, Srila Gurudev used to say, my worshipable is not Krishna. Huh? So surprising. Try to him you all hearing Govinda Madhi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Gurudev said no. Krishna haite chaturmukha. Krishna haite chaturmukha. Hai Krishna seva mukha. Brahma haite narade ramati. Narada haite vyasa. Madhva he vyasa dasa. Purna pragya padvana magati. The parampara. From Krishna to Brahmaji to Naraji to Vedvyas and all this. This is our lineage. But Srila Gurudev said, no. Our line is different. Our line is Radharani, Lalita Sati, Rupa Manjari, Kamala Manjari, Nailmani Manjari, Vinoda Manjari. This is the and our Ishta is the East of Gaudiya. Ishta means the object of worship, not Krishna, Radharani. The all Gaudiya Itihas, all literature to become the maid servant of Radharani. This is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to get. This Srila Bhakti Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Guru said, I took this responsibility of what I heard from my authorities, my Gurujans. The observed his disciplined state 2 days back. That was his last instructions to everyone. Everyone together preached the message of Rupa Raghunath. And Mathur Vire Brajavasi. The best worship is what worship? The worship in separation. Separation is not the goal. No more separation. Chandrika Didi was explaining this. Srila Gurudev used to say this. Separation is not what we want, but and that separation for Krishna starts with the separation from Guru. And Srila Gurudev said, that's the point. When I start speaking, then that's why I was not speaking. Okay. This point's finished. Srila Gurudev said, the separation of Radharani at Prem Sarovar, when Radharani was just with Krishna and seeing a bumblebee, Madhusudan, approaching, and Madhumanga with his stick chased away that bumblebee and said, Madhusudan is gone. Radharani, and that was so surprising for Krishna. I'm just here, but she only heard Madhusudan is gone, Krishna is gone. What happened to her? Srila Gurudev explained this. What she is going through. Jahan jahan netra kode, seeing Krishna everywhere. Seeing Tamal tree, she wants to embrace Krishna. Seeing the clouds, she wants running to embrace the clouds. Seeing a peacock, running after peacock because they all reminding her or they resemble Krishna, the dark complexion. Kya avastha? What was her condition? In the union, separation. So this separation mood starts from there. That's Guru Parampara, Gurudev said, from Radharani. Intense separation only seen in Radharani. She's even forgetting. I'm just repeating the words of Srila Gurudev. She laments. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad wrote in Bhakti Sam Sindhu, Govind Prekshna Ashpa Muravi Varshanam Uche Nindam Anandam Arvind Lochanam. We sing this bhajan, everyone knows. Gauranga Bodhite Habe Puraka Sharira Hari Hari Bhavite Oh, when the day will come in my life, when I chant Hari Hari, the tear flows from my eyes. We are longing for that day. But what's happening to Radharani? Try to understand. How Srila Gurudev is going so deep in that mood to explain what's happening there. She is cursing those tears when she's adoring the beauty of Krishna. She's cursing those tears. Why are you coming? When I'm serving Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Kaviraj Goswami is writing. Sevanand and Premanand. Prem Anand means the bliss one gets from in prem, in love. And Sevanand means the bliss one gets in service. When Radharani is adoring the beauty of Krishna, she is serving Krishna because Krishna is getting peace. But then the Sattvic Bhav, the spiritual emotions get overpowered, and because of that, the very first Sattvic Bhav comes as Ashru, the tears flow from her eyes. Because of the tears, eyes get motion and she is not able to see Krishna properly. She's cursing those tears. Hey Premanand, go away from here. The bliss of Prem, go away from here. You're disturbing my singer. She don't want. That's the highest surrender Srila Gurudev is saying. She's not worshipping, she's not serving Krishna or with Krishna to get bliss. She's cursing those emotions. Go away. But then question arises. Why at Uddhav Kari she is unconscious still and her girlfriends Lalita Vishaka keeping her on the bed of flowers, lotus flowers, because lotus flowers is very, the petals are so cool, so give her cooling effect. Because her body is burning in separation from Krishna. Burning in separation from Krishna. And unconscious is the stage. Means motionless, ultimate bliss in that unconscious state. If you try to calculate this from material perspective, we say, oh person unconscious, so bad, so sad. But in spiritual world, it's totally different. It's the ultimate bliss, unconscious. Mahaprabhu used to be unconscious. While singing, dancing, jumping high in the sky, falling, and unconscious. Then turns to Krishna. This no. Once Sakhi, Vishwashankar Thakur explains, once Sakhi called Murcha, she embraced Radharani because she can't tolerate that Radharani is feeling intense separation from Krishna and she is feeling pain in her heart. So this Murcha embraced her so that she remained, in coma. She should not feel that Murcha. So deep point. We will explain. It's not because she has no desire. So they said, Radha Bakshishari, Je Jan, Se Jan, Je Bhave, Se Bhave Thake. Amito Radhika, Bakshipati Sada, Karuna Hevi Thake. Bhakti Thakur's mood. Whoever say what, let them say. I'm always on the side of Radharani. As Sri Raghunath Das goes, Dasya Sumam, Raksastu Satya. It's seen why she wants to give the opportunity to become, will senses to that position of becoming her Sati. I want to become maid servant. Dasya Sumam, Raksastu Satya. So Srila Gurudev is telling, the separation mood, the word separation starts from Radharani, that's our Guru Parampara. And see the separation of Rup Sanatan. See the separation of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. His object of worship was Govardhan and Radhakund. More dear than his life. But in the separation of what he's thinking, Govardhan is like a python is coming and beating me. And Radhakund is like a tiger coming to hit me. Goodness said in that separation, Sri Ratan Thakur is crying in his separation from my acharyas. I want to hit my head with a stone. I want to jump into fire. So the Gurudev said, this separation mood is shown by our Guru Parampara. Shri Madhavendra Puri Pad, Aye Deen Dayard Nath, He Mathura Nath, Kadam Lokashri. Shri Madhavendra Puri starts from there, from Radharani, from Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Madhavendra Puri, and then Goswamis and Bhakti Thakur and all. Many of us we saw this, especially Karti Parikma. the disappearance day of Param Gurudev, Srila Gurudev in tears can't even chant the Mangala Charan, uttering the name of his Guru Padma, his Gurudev. Separation. This separation enhances union. More person feels separation, and Srila Gurudev said this is the barometer to count. Who has more union with Krishna? Who has more union with Krishna? One who feels more separation has more union with Krishna. Amongst all Brajvasis, Radharani. Shunyate Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahani. Krishna became restless, and Krishna in the mood of Radharani, as Sachinandan Gaur Hari is saying, Shunyate Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahani. I see the whole world is empty. In the separation of Krishna. Srila Gurudev said, when any disciple or a practitioner, sadhaka, feels separation from his Gurudev, understand that he has established his relationship with Gurudev. If there is no separation, where is the relationship? And Srila Gurudev said, you may take this as a philosophy, but as example, just for example, suppose your son died. What happens? We remember all the activities of that son, of our son. Day and night we will cry. Mother will not eat and sleep. Will she get any opportunity to find faults in others if her son died? Will she have feast every day when her son died? Will she going to have a nice time? No. Years for years she can't forget that. He used to wear that, he used to like this, he used to eat that. He said, because of sambandha, relationship. Gurudev said, this is Vire Utsav, which reminds us how we have to be in that sambandha and relationship with our Gurudev, who is the source of our inspiration. Whatever we got, whatever we are, so much transformation from the previous lifestyle to a new lifestyle. Who's behind this? Always Guru Dev. Always. He never leaves disciple. He never leaves disciple. But the point comes, how much I'm remembering my Guru Dev. Not a single tear come in the eyes. That means there is no separation. And when there is no separation, then there is no union. I can boldly say, oh, I was in many occasions, I was in a room with Gurudev, I was serving him. False. Just like God brothers of Param Gurudev glorified him, saying, you served Srila Prabhupada. Physically, you served Srila Prabhupada. Param Gurudev said, it was just like Ravan kidnapped Sita. Sita Devi manifested a shadow Sita. Ravan was only able to kidnap the shadow Sita, not the real Sita. Therefore, because of my bad fortune, he used to say so much humility. When I wanted to serve my Gurudev, his transcendental personality, what he manifested as shadow form. So how can I claim in my eyes, remembering him or lagging in following him? What is the use of me becoming a disciple of such a Mahabhagat? No, useless. Everything depends on viraha. It's so important factor in the life of a disciple. Separation from one's Gurudev. that comes with love. More you love, more separation. So on this day, remembering Srila Gurudev, his lecture, I just try to say something. I want to invite Narayan Prabhu. Please, you have served Srila Gurudev so many years, and he was very fond of your singing. So please, any memory, whatever, any contribution, please come here so that everyone can see.
ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य दिनञ्जनस्य चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री श्रीरङ्गवन्दिनरूपमिदं विक्रमं चित्ररूपमण्डलमोदिष्ट सुवितानन्दनं हरिनाम करुणालयं परिणामोपदेशच श्रीरामकृष्णदेवस्य देखिनान्दिनकर्तृ. First of all, I'd like to offer my respectful Kotikati Dandasaram to my initiating Guru Dev, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Gurudev would say, Yo Prabhupada, Hare Prabhupada. And equally to the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Vitalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astutara Sato Sishinad, Bhaktivedanta Narayana Swami Maharaj. My Shiksha Gurudev. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are so unlimited, they're like the sky. And in the sky we see, according to the qualification or there are different birds that can get higher and higher into it, but they never touch the limits. Similarly, the pure devotees like Krishna, their pastimes are unlimited. So unlike the little bird will try to take honor and attach a little bit on it. There's a little bird, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami said, there's a little bird that is satisfied with just touching that big ocean and drinks a little drop. It's in the beak. So I'm even smaller than that. So I'll try to explain some things. But for me today, it's a day that I lost my best friend. Because Gurudev treated me as such. He used to call me Prabhu. And that's something that actually Param Gurudev started. Param Gurudev. He started, he's called his disciple Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada also, our Prabhupada also continued that. So on this day, yes, we were in Jagannath Puri, and there were so many instances I can go on. Like Maharaj says, I start talking and probably go on for a long time. But you know, I'm limited, I'm a simple person.
Yeah, I remember we were together in Jagannath.
Yes. And I got a great fortune because of his associates. Rajanath Prabhu said, oh, you guard Gurudev's door. There was the temple there in Puri, there's a hotel. The devotees have, the owners have given the hotel and turned it into a temple. And it's right there at Chakratirtha, so what a spot. And that's one of the qualities that Gurudev, one of the things he did. And we were fortunate enough to have money to give to Gurudev, like many others did. And he would say, see what I did with their money. So Srila Gurudev, he renovated many of his tirthas. He did so many things, and so many levels. He touched so many lives. So we were here, we were there this day, but we lost our dear friend, Srila Gurudev. And in one of the times that when I first got there, he was very internal. He would sit on the chair against the wall, and then you could see the ocean running from it. So there were two balconies. The building was in like a U, like a horseshoe type of building. And his room was in the middle. And there's some funny pastimes. When I first got there, with my wife's training, Maybe that's it. He was sitting, but Maharaj is not against the wall, but he was very serious. And but I pay my dandavats, pronounce to him, and he looks up and says, "Oh, what are you here? You came to count waves?" And I thought, oh, my heart went to the bottom, and I was just like, and Padmanabha says, "No, he's joking with you." And he always got me. He always got me. I mean, we went into a morning walk one time with Mother Maharaj and Gurudev, and right across from the temple, Giriraj Gaudiya Math in Govardhan. And now it's all built up. As soon as the Pure Devotee comes to a place, it becomes very important. So now it's all built up. People, they're charging triple time, whatever, triple amount of money. But it was a field. So we went into it. And he pointed out the plan and said, "You know what that is?" And I said, "Oh, yes, it's a master seed plan. And it's a master plan." I said, "Oh, how do you know that?" I said, "Well, I've been here since the 70s. I've been coming. So I learned, what it looks like." Oh, I said, but you don't know that plant there. That gives potatoes, tomatoes, and my Maharaj said, "He's joking." At the same time, it's like that. It's and very firm and offendable to others, especially from or propounding deviation to pure devotional service. And he used to we like Krishna because Radharani likes Krishna. In Los Angeles, there was most of the devotees, the audience were all Prabhupada disciples. Like they said, forget about this Krishna consciousness. So at that time, this day, coming up to from about July, July, Brajanath, we call that. We were in Santa Cruz, California. He said, "Must come right away. Let's get an episode with them." And I don't think he's going to stay with us that much longer. As soon as he comes, just please come. And towards the end of the summer, anyhow, we dropped everything, and it was first in Delhi, and then we took in, we went to Govardhan, and then Govardhan we spent some time, and then from there we went to Jagannath. So, like I said, he manifested this lila of weakness, but pure devotee never gets sick. It's all just to play with our heart and to play with our attachment, to create an attachment, so that separation will be there. If we think of him like he's so high, so elevated, oh my God, he's like, that's worshiping, like you were saying, in awe and reverence, then we won't be crying. There won't be no separation. That was one question that Lord Chaitanya asked, what is the worst pain that you can experience to Ramana Roy? And he said that separation, that pain that comes is when the Vaishnava has departed. And he explained it, it's like, it looks almost, there's a word he uses, but I can't remember, but it's like a pleasure pain. So for us in the world, I mean, it's a separation much away, and it's lamentation. There's lamentation too when the spiritual master leaves, when our friend leaves. But there is sweetness in it. It gives us a chance to remember. And it's not just, oh, he did this, I was there, I was first, he was second, third. I'm number 16 disciple. No, it's not that. It's how, and he always pushed us to that, to develop that internal relationship with him. In that way, we can then start remembering. Here in Hilo at the house temple of my dear god brother Gopravindapal, that was our first meeting. To guess what? It's your grandmother. She's gonna be here. You got a nice car. Why don't you just come over and pick him up? Come on. Yeah, sure. We went to, and we were like him in the car, and so I would saddle Prabhupada, and he started whole routine. He would punch me, and I think it was just to shake, break my heart. And so, oh, you saddle Srila Prabhupada. You have Harinam from him? Yes. Oh, very good. Diksha? Yes. And then he would tap my heart. He would just go, and I remember my Diksha Guru Dev. It was San Francisco, 1974. It was Ratha Yatra that time. And at that time, the temple was on Valencia Street. You remember, and it was a funeral home, actually. So it had double doors, atrium. Anyhow, I was outside the temple room proper, but I was, inside this atrium. And it was a double door. And all of a sudden, Prabhupada is coming. So I just went right there, and I said, wow, we were so excited, Prabhupada is coming. And right out of my sight, like really fast, running, Kirtananda Maharaj came in and embraced Prabhupada. I said, wow, can you do that with a spiritual master? Can you embrace him? Oh my God. He said, I want reverence. When I first met Srila Prabhupada, I was so struck in awe and reverence. And here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, manifested in front of us. I couldn't speak. So my relationship with my Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, it was, he would read my mind and then respond. And so I wrote 3 books, edited in Spanish, and Prabhupada proceeded to, read it. So, La Conciencia de Krishna. I said, wow, Gurudev speaks, Prabhupada speaks of all thinking. Prabhupada turned around and said, Krishna speaks all languages. So Shashat Haritanasa Master Sachi Gurudev, the pure devotee, would sing that every morning. Gurvashtakam. They're equal. But out of mercy, Krishna manifests that form of Gurudev. Sri Guru's Krishna becomes in many forms. Shiksha Gurudev explained to me, it's the same. In Tattva, we cannot commit the offense that, Shiksha Gurudev is lesser or different. And, no, that would be an offense. It's like saying Vishnu or any form of Lord Vishnu is different than Krishna. But we know on another level in Ras, when we talk about Ras, Krishna is too Bhagavan, he's the supreme taster of all rasas. And one morning walk, Srila Prabhupada, we were in Mayapur, it was 1976, a very crucial year, a lot of things happened. But we're in the morning walk, and then there's a little wall there, and Prabhupada is approaching it, and the devotee runs, to help Prabhupada climb the wall. Prabhupada took his hand and got out to the top of the wall, and he went like this. He hit the hand of the devotee like this. That's the way Mayavads do. That's the way that those who don't understand do. They think that when they attain perfection, now Gurudev is to be forgotten. But Vaishnavas, where they should be, is totally the opposite. He's the most important person that we can think of. There's a way to enter, the secrets. This science is science and a mystery, Krishna says. And the only one I can reveal it is Gurudev. We'll be there. But Thakur, Kamala Manji, says, I'll be waiting this day when Adita will come and take my hand. That's Gurudev. Maharaj just told us our parampara, our line is from Manjaris they come. So, in this day, yes, we carry, prior to that, we were in Jagannath Puri and Rajanath Prabhu would ask me, Gurudev, sometimes he couldn't get up from that chair and he would get out and it was very dizzy. So that, and sometimes I saw he's putting his head on Rajanath Prabhu's chest and we would pause a bit and Rajanath would signal me and then we'd do a little chair, with our arms, pick up Gurudev and it was very light, it was very thin and go inside and take him around to his room and bring him to his room. But the day talking about today, we're talking with friends that have been staying at our place, and Guru, one of the meanings of it is heavy, and so the morning that Guru get into Apricot Lila, the night prior, because it was a hotel, and now it was vacation time in Puri, so all the Delhi and all the kind of wealthy people would come to Puri just to have a nice time at the beach. So anyhow, the hotel was filled. They asked us to please, if we can free our room, so we went and rented something else, and which was about a block away. So Damodar Maharaj came running, and he didn't know what room we were in, so we started yelling in the middle of the patio, and we didn't hear him. So Rina Didi, she calls us on the phone, long distance. She said, "Oh, come, Gurudev is leaving. It's going to Gurudev is going to Navadvip." So we just ran, then. We probably weren't properly dressed. It's like they always, we don't want to miss a chance to be with him. So we get there and this car is all decorated with garlands, very like garlands from the hood up the roof, and it was just, wow, okay, nice procession. When we get up there, all the barriers were gone because they had to guard him. There were so many people wanted to be with him and pushed to get in there. They wouldn't give him privacy, and so there were like barriers to get to. So when we get up to the second floor, all that was gone. We were like, surprised. And then we entered his room, and everybody was there, and it wasn't entering my mind. And Gurudev was sitting on his bed, and he was effulging us ever, even more. It was just amazing. Our daughter had a dream the same time. She said, "Oh, I just saw Guru." She called us and said, she was here in Hawaii, and do you remember she saw, what was it? He was in a meeting. And that was exactly what's going on. And when we entered the room, I just, just got seconds that went by, and I just didn't dawn on me until I hear the Kishore Mohan Prabhu chanting Jayanila Pranadana. I said, "Oh, wow, Gurudev is gone." And so he had on his chest, he had the Parampara, he had Srila Prabhupada two picture on his chest.
Wow, just
and
right?
Yeah, and they asked me at one point, the body told him, he said he was so soft. And so I went and held it as much, I could. It was really pretty heavy. Not his head, but his, to be there like that, knowing that now, how am I going to get there? And that's one question I asked him telepathically. I was thinking when I first came to see him in Puri, was that, how am I now where you are, Gurudev? How am I going to get there? I have no qualification. How am I going to get there? Right at that time, big, huge Sankirtan party. All the bodies were there. I think Mahivartari were there, and Gurudev was barely moving his hand, oh, Mahivartari. And the roaring Harinam Sankirtan. And then later on, I think I read the Harmonies. There was an article about Param Gurudev, so Tisiranta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, where he says, in this stage, just sitting alone to chant the Harinam, okay, it might be all right, but the end is through Harinam Sankirtan, loud chanting, congregational chanting of the holy name. So it was always they are like, wow, it's like, oh, Gurudev is sick. No, he's not sick. He's manifesting the lila by which he's giving us great mercy so that we can serve and be connected to him and feel something. And that's something to feel for the people. Okay. To get to us. So we asked everybody to leave on the date we put them on the earth. At your house, he felt these things, or like symptoms that actually he was putting them in me. And he came close. Brenda Abulasi, she told me when she first started touring with Monsieur Gurudev, he said, "Oh, I'll manifest, or I'll satisfy all those desires that you had that you couldn't fulfill with their spiritual master. I'll do that, and I want this to be fun and in a laughing mood." It was serious. At one time, Gurudev, all he spoke was mana shiksha, and it was like thunderbolt. What to do? I mean, and we started examining it ourselves, and well, so he wanted that too. So I'm sorry, I'm really taking. Thank you for having me, and you all remind me of him. He has so many faces, and so like that, pure devotees are like that. Is that Lord Chaitanya would dance and everybody saw him facing, Lord Chaitanya would face them. So, oh, he's looking at me. He's looking at our party. And Prabhupada did that, Gurudev did that. So everybody felt they're, looking, oh, he's looking at me. Yes, yes. And they never leave. They just go into uppercut and manifested lila. And like they say, keep growing, keep going. You have to, don't sit down, don't stagnate, don't be weak, he used to say. Don't criticize, never, 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 never. But also he would tell us, don't be weak. And so all this parikrama, things with him and with the, now japa is so easy, like, well, that we can remember. He took us to these intimate places. He explained to us things that, I mean, there are Vaishnavas, there's 4 sampradayas, they're all legitimate, but no sampradaya like our sampradaya. And the Maharaj Linga becomes even more finer, more subtle, higher and higher. Is where our Guru Bhargavas, our Paramparad is from Radharani. That's wonderful. So thank you. So thank you, Prabhu. Panchakatha to the strategy.
He did mention 2010. Badger, US touring. I will not come to America anymore. I think this is my last tour. I heard from devotees. But when Gurudev came to Mathura, Shikeshavji Gaudiya, after touring Janakpur, the birthplace of Sita Devi. So, all devotees, brahmacharis, sannyasis, welcome Srila Gurudev. And we made Gurudev sat on a nice decorated seat. We did arati. And when mic was given to Srila Gurudev, he said, he indicated, I was doing parikrama of the entire earth so many times I did this. And from long, I had this desire to see the birthplace of Sita Devi. That is Janakpur, near Nepal. That was my desire from long, long years. I'm just coming from there to have darshan of that birthplace of Sita Devi. I think my parikrama is finished now. My parikrama is finished now. He said this word. And immediately after 1 month, he started manifesting his sickness past time. And then we all know how devotees were singing and chanting in front of Gurudev room in Delhi, Shri Raman Bihari Gaudiya Math. Devotees from China, from all over the world, singing. And Srila Gurudev was hearing from inside. Sometimes he had this desire to go out, sometimes he has no desire to go. And then, long story short, when we took him to Govardhan, to Girdhari Gaudiya Math, thousands of people, because the news spread everywhere, maybe Srila Gurudev will leave us. Everyone, so many devotees, we heard the story, they sell their bike, motorbike, their car, everything to purchase ticket to come and see Gurudev. So many devotees took loan because they wanted to see Gurudev. And in front of Gurudev, thousands of devotees sang, singing and chanting. And Gurudev is hearing. With the help of Seva team, we brought Srila Gurudev outside. We used to bring him outside, and he's seeing so many devotees around. Sometimes he was also saying, I don't want to go. Why? We used to say, Gurudev, so many devotees waiting for your darshan. They're doing parikrama whole day, and just for 5 minutes of your darshan, they came from so many countries, so far distance. Srila Gurudev said, they will not understand this. What I'm going to do. Because Shri Rupa Goswami Pad wrote in Padyavali, Arche Vishnu Shirade Guru Shu Narmati Vaishnava Jati Buddhi. Considering deities made of wood, any metal, considering Gurudev as an ordinary human being, and Vaishnava from different caste. If anyone think like that, immediately go to hell. So Srila Gurudev said, what I'm going through, they will not understand. Therefore, maybe if any of them can you please close that door? Every jiva is qualified to hear Harikatha. If Dhundakari as ghost can hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then this is snake. And the snake was just right in front of his mouth, and he was speaking Harikatha without any bhayam dutya videshita. No bhaya, no fear. The fear arises because of, just like me, what I
such depth. He has such depth. And the thing is that Srila Gurudev appears to be gone. And while he was here, there was such sweetness. But the fact is, he hasn't forgotten you. Sorry. I don't know if I'll be able to go. Okay, just change the subject because that one is really. He hasn't forgotten you. We got to see Srila emotions that he went through. He was so great. Do you remember? You remember he would sit on that Vyasasan and it was like there was a crispness to the air because it was like I sat up straighter, you know, and he was just had this growl. It's like, how can anyone look so grave? And then it's like he would get involved in the class he was speaking, and then he would be so emotional. And he went through that, and then the drama would happen, and he would be laughing like he laughed like Srila Prabhupada, you know, right from the belly. No, like big laughs like that, you know. And he was also he was psychic. He was beyond psychic. He knew what you were thinking. He could look at you and tell everything about you, and knew where you were at. You couldn't hide anything. And that was freeing in a way, because here's somebody who actually knows me. And still, my God, where do you get that? Anyway, Gurudev would always encourage us that we were. He would always talk about japa, and he would always attract us in with the stories of Krishna. It was wonderful. Do you remember? It's like, you know, we grew up in the movement. We're like, yeah, I know about Krishna. You know, I've heard all the stories. And then he would come up with new stories and newer stories. And it was so enlivening, you know, because I always loved the stories. And it's like, and then when he came in, there was new bhajans from our favorite, you know, bhajaneer, you know, new Narottam Das, new everything. The Gita Gucha just expanded. Like, you know, we had that little book, and then all of a sudden we had new drum beats. Everything was new when Srila Gurudev came. And he brought the life back. Because, you know, we had a nice scene going in Badger. You know, we worshiped Srila Prabhupada, and we had a good sangha, good devotees, but we didn't know what we were missing until Srila Gurudev came. Then we were like, oh my God, how much better is it now? And he was always encouraging us to go to Vrindavan, you know. I remember the first thing, you know, just as a personal anecdote. The first thing he would say to me when he saw me every time, like I would be at the airport, you know, and then he would look at me and he would say, "What drama?" That was it. What drama are you gonna do? What drama? And I'd be like, Gurudev, we're planning on doing the 4 Kumars stay at the you know, and then Narda, wait, how did it go? Oh yeah, Narda was serving them in his previous, and then we were working on it for months. He'd be like, no. What? Lord Nrsingadev, again, for the 10th time. Oh my God. He loved that drama. I mean, it was the preaching, of course, you know, Prahlad Maharaj preaching. And Srila Gurudev's classes are like opening up the Bhagavad Gita again and like realizing you didn't understand it last time. You know, it's like, you know, it was like every time you see a Srila Gurudev class, you're like, oh, that's what he meant. You know, it's like ever fresh, you know, and thinking that the Vaishnavas are gone is a is a limit in our own ability to see. Because the Vaishnavas aren't gone. Srila Prabhupada's not gone. Srila Gurudev's not gone. And for those who love, sorry, for those who love him, he's not gone from us. Words like in our Maya come to us and say, remember, chant your rounds, remember. And I'm so grateful for that. Because without that, what I do is fall into Maya, because it's like my natural state, you know. But then I have all of you devotees. Thank you.
So, one bhajan, then we'll ask more speakers to glorify Srila Gurudev. Chandrakam, please. I remember I was in Mathura, Keshavji Gaudiyamar, and once upon a time I was massaging Srila Gurudev, and he mentioned, I went to Hawaii, and he didn't mention her name, but he said, God Sundar's sister, she sang that bhajan, Hari Hari Vifale Janama Gawai. Oh, the way she sang melted my heart. I never heard anyone singing like this. So I was mentioning Devi this morning that today, remembering Srila Gurudev, he remembered you there. And we are trying to remember him as much as we can with our limitations. For his pleasure, he's just here. He's hearing us. Yes? He's hearing us. What we are doing here, actually what we are doing here, is what 10th canto Bhagavatam. On the bank of Jamuna, when the gopis were singing Gopi Geet, Krishna was just there, alakshit, indirectly. He was present there, and he was hearing the emotions of the gopis, the feelings of the gopis. He was hearing. But what the gopis were doing? What is that Gopi Geet about? The glories of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. What he did? Vish Jalapaya Vyada Rakshasha Jayati Tedikam Janmanam Raja. This is what they're doing. This is our parampara. So when I said that Gurudev said, it's not false. Getting together, all devotees, Gurudev Parivar, Gaur Parivar together, feeling so good and strong, seeing all together worshipping Srila Gurudev, and from different perspectives, hearing the glories and memories of Srila Gurudev. This is what gopis did together, speaking the pastimes of Krishna, and Krishna was hearing. So when she's singing now this bhajan, Srila Gurudev is hearing. Yes.
I wanted to say a little something also. Gurudev, like Srinam was saying, Gurudev accepted what we could do, and he would reciprocate with us, and he would give us a service, and that was singing for me, and also some drama. And in the beginning, we would always sing different songs and try to find different tunes. And I sang this like one song that was Prabhuji Dayakaro, and he had me sing that one, and sometimes we'd sing another one. And then he loved the new songs and new tunes so much that he was always telling my mother, because she would find the tunes and also translate the songs to English, and he said to to her that that should be her service and she should compile everything. And so she was always doing that. And when one day we were working on she found this tune, beautiful tune, and for Hari Hari before the General Gawan, and when I sang that one, after that he never asked me to sing another song. Never one, even if it was 2 days in a row. Again, he would ask me to sing Hari Hari before.
That's why he mentioned this when he came to Mathura.
So, and even one day when he was like chastising me very hardly for not being like more fixed and being a rascal, then I was like crushed and thinking, now what am I supposed to do? So then I asked him, what am I supposed to do now? And he said, oh, the song Hari Hari Bale Janma Gawan. If you go deep into this bhajan, then it, like, I can't remember his exact words, but it will save you and take you. And so that's like how he really and I also wanted to say, like, when Guru was in this disappearing time, that I was so sad to hear, because I thought I would never be able to sing for Gurudev. And because I heard, I never hardly got to go in the room with Gurudev because I don't know, other more important people would go. So I thought I would never speak to Gurudev or sing for him. But when I went to India, we went to Delhi, and I would sing outside his door, and I was so like surprised that I could still sing for Gurudev. And he came to the door, and he saw me, and he was like, "How are you?" It was like, and I would sing by his door in Govardhan, and a lot of people told me, "Why are you here? You should be going like to the Parikrama. That's what Gurudev desires." And it wasn't a choice. I couldn't leave. I had to just sit there and sing. And I was scared that I was being with the students, but Gurudev, then way later, like almost a year later, after Gurudev had disappeared, and I heard that the Gurudev, one time we didn't come, there was like a bunch of girls that we would sing by Gurudev's door there. And I heard that he said, "Oh, where are my singing birds?" And then the whole time I had so much doubt what I should do. I felt like I was being bad or something. And I felt like, oh, Gurudev accepted. Anyway, I hope I can say.
Shila Gurudev ki jai. Okay, so tomorrow is working day. and our dear host, they are requesting me to stop this assembly for today, not forever. There are so many more speakers, Bhavatami Devi, Krishnadas Prabhu, and Shavan, Kirtan, Smaran, Parsevan, and many other speakers. So we will continue our this festival tomorrow also. Next time when I'll come, we're going to have whole night kirtan. There's so many singers here. One singer can take 5 hours. The other, Sridham Prabhu, Krishnadas Prabhu, everyone. So, Suchandra, yes. So, that's some inspiration came in my mind. So, maybe next time. Otherwise, it just this inspiration came so late. Otherwise, we would have planned and sent email that tonight we're going to do like that. All the way tomorrow, whole day celebrating Gurudev's. But anyway, so tomorrow again, starting Kirtan 4:30, and some more Hari Katha glorification, which in last just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So special. The relationship between two God brothers, unparalleled. The connection between them. I was speaking this morning. Gaur-Sundar Prabhu Shiva Sangam. When our Gurudev, he renounced his family, he boarded on train, he came to Shri Navdeep Dham. Param Gurudev, Shri Bhakti Pragyan Keshu Gosai Maharaj, he sent Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj to receive one boy. His name is Narayan Tiwari. Srila Vaman Gosai Maharaj, it was almost night, dark, was carrying a laltin at the railway station, calling out, "Who is Narayan Tiwari? Who is Narayan?" He was not able to pronounce Tiwari, Bengali accent. So Tiwari, Tiwari. Narayan Tiwari, Narayan Tiwari. Gurudev heard this my name. He said, "Yes, I am Narayan Tiwari." Srila Vaman Gosai Maharaj said, "Oh, my Guru Maharaj sent me to receive." How Guru Maharaj came to know I'm coming? Srila Vaman Gosai Maharaj said, "I don't know that." That I don't know, but he said to receive you. So to guide you, please come. So Gurudev used to say, Vaman Maharaj was the first, my Shiksha Guru. He received me at the train station and brought me to Param Gurudev. So the first meeting of Srila Gurudev, of Srila Vaman Gosai Maharaj, and Vaman Gosai Maharaj brought Gurudev to Param Gurudev, his Guru Maharaj. And on this day, disappearance day, Tirobhav day, which is appearance day of Srila Vaman Gosai Maharaj, he came and told Gurudev, preaching is done. He already established what Guru Maharaj wanted to establish. So many literatures already distributed. The whole world now came to know about Radha Dasyam. He's calling you. There's so much more services there. Come. And on his Vyasa Puja, his appearance day, he took Srila Gurudev back to Param Gurudev. We know the Manjari, the service of Radharani. That's the connection. I was saying this morning, it's not a coincidence. Srila Bhaktivedanta Tripura Gosai Maharaj, his disappearance in Kartik. And Srila Vaman Gosai Maharaj chose the same day to leave this world. Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj, appearance day, 100th appearance day today. But Srila Gurudev chose this day. It's not coincidence. Huh? There's a plan between these three God brothers who shown the whole world what is mamta, what is affection between God brothers. Even though three of them, their natures were different. And in their speaking, Hari Katha, Srila Trikram Goswami Maharaj establishing sambandha. Those who have seen him or heard him, always. Sant eva chindanti mano vyapsava guptavi. He was very strong, cutting the knots of the heart, very strong, establishing sambandha. Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, wherever he starts his Hari Katha, he always ends up with Hari Naam and practice. Abhideha. And Srila Gurudev, from wherever he starts his Hari Katha, he always ends up with Priyojana. Sambandha, Abhideha, and Priyojana. It's not a coincidence. There is some mystery, you can say, or is a plan. And they shown so much in my relationship, so condensed relationship. Their appearance and disappearance falls on the same day. How it can one can be coincidence? Two cannot be. So Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj came, look Srila Gurudev, come. Param Gurudev is waiting for you. What he wanted to establish, he already done. This is the mode. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada and Param Gurudev to establish this, the glories of Radharani, for which Mahaprabhu came and all the Goswamis came. All glories, and all glories. Vande Guru Shri Charanar Vindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanar Vindam. I don't want to stop actually. This addiction with mic is a very bad addiction. Anyway, it's 8:50 now. We have Guru Puja. Tomorrow, so many pastimes of Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. Astonishing pastimes. Going to hear and more of Srila Gurudev. I didn't spoke anything. It's not even Achman. And we have to take shower in this nectar of Guru Leela. Guru Leela Amritam. So I'm thankful to all devotees, brothers, sisters, my elders, my seniors, even kids who participated and so quiet hearing. Yeah. Please come again tomorrow. Please come again. And in this way we will celebrate together this festival, followed by feast again. Very much thankful to Shravan Prabhu and Lalita Didi hosting this, so enthusiastic. And even though it was so hard to come to Hawaii from the mainland, but he was inspiring me, no, come, everything will be fine, come. And he arranged everything. And such nice hosting. I'm so much thankful to that. And even if we want to do 7 days, they're ready for that. They're ready for that. Next time we'll do. Gaur Premanande, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Tadi Tiro Bhav Tithi Mahotsav ki jai, Shri Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Shri Vyas Puja Tithi Mahotsav ki jai, Gaur Premanande. You have to announce.